so welcome back to Carpentry School. Okay, so now I've picked up my cleaning up board, which is basically a bit of plywood, 18mm ply on a batten, it's fixed into the batten, and then this batten bit sits inside the vice like so. The series of holes is where I've been placing the blocks. So I've got 4 MDF blocks that are going to go in the middle, really like that. Just to keep that steady while I clean it up. And then I'm going to nail those blocks using some wire nails. So these are inch or 25mm wire nails. Probably going to put a wire nail in each block. Okay, so I think one should be enough. Yeah, it should be. So I just want the wire nails slightly sticking up. That will be suffice, so I can pull it out after. Now, another thing you can do is when you nail in, if you clean up the end of your hammer, just on a bit of glass paper, I've used in this case 120. Here we are, 120 grit. Yeah, and this, what that does is when you're nailing, it's not going to slip, because you don't really want to slip and then dent your actual work that you're trying to clean up, do you really? So this is why I've just cleaned the, see, I slipped there, didn't I? So imagine I could slip on that piece of my work, what I'm trying to finish off. So just cleaning up the face is a good idea. Right, so just make sure that's nice and tight in there. And when you're hammering something, try and keep, you put your hand or the grabbing of it at the very end of the hammer. That gives you leverage. Try not to do this, it's not good, too much tapping. So you want that at the very end of the hammer, and then keep it there, and 1, 2, probably 3 strokes, it's in. So now, so make sure there's no nails floating around on top of the cleaning up board, as I calling it. Put that away. So I'm going to bring across my smoothing plane. Okay, so now I've got my smoothing plane, it's set so as fine as I want it to be. So I'm just seeing the blade. Now I've got a bit of wax here, and what that does is help the plane glide over the work, or glide over the surface. Because if I didn't have that, you have what they call, I suppose, the friction. So the friction of the metal against the timber. Sometimes it can be a bit of hard work planing. So the wax, this helps the plane glide nice easily over the timber. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is really have a look at the grain, look at my joints, see what I want to do in relation to flushes. In this case, it's pretty tidy, except for here, there's a little bit proud. Now, where can I show you that? If I put my square onto this, so what that means is that I've got to plane this edge as well as here to make sure it gets flat. You'll see when I start. And this is the back of the framework, okay? If I go round, so this is just slightly high, very slightly. Look, you can see that little bit there. That one there, no, that's fine. This one here, so there's this little bit of the outside edge. You see where the little gap is? This is where I need to plane the outside edge, just to get that down and nice and flat. I'm using a square just to give me an indicator, yeah? Put a bit of wax on, and now I'm going to start planing. Now, when you start planing, is really where to start, really. So the starting point will be, you always want to plane with the grain. So I have a little glimpse of how the grain is. In this case, it seems quite uniform, yeah, quite consistent. So I'm going to start planing this way. Now, Now, when you've got joints like this or intersection like this, circular motion is what we're going to use, because that just glides or just takes by keeping the plane. If you notice, I'm keeping the plane at an angle, yeah, a slight angle. So I'm slicing as I'm planing the intersection where this one meets this vertical. Okay, so that's why I'm going like this, circular motion. So I'm just gonna plane up here like this. So I need to just take that down. Cool. So look, so you can see what I've done there. Look, I've tear that. Can you see that? Yeah. You can't see that. Yeah, tear. So what that means is, for me, I'm going to have to take my time, not go up here. It needs to come this way, because I've torn against the grain. Yeah, so I can still plane it, and then have a little check. So I can still plane a bit more, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift it off when it comes to here, like what you see me doing now. Okay. So I'm going to have another little check here. Right, so I need to just, and then come up here like this on the outside edges. And then the other thing is not to overplane it. Yeah, what we call, when you overplane your work, what we call dubbing. Dubbing is when it's overplaying. Sometimes dubbing is when you're playing so much, you get carried away, and then you're reducing the actual thickness of material more than it should be. Of course, you're going to reduce it, but not more than it should be by overplaning. So that's something you've got to be careful of, especially when you're finishing like what we're doing now. So I'm just going to just have another little thing, so there a little bit. Just have a look at that. So every so often, just put a little bit more wax on, because you just want it gliding. You don't want that friction like it's planing, like it's too hard to plane. You just want the thing gliding, the plane gliding over your work. That's what we're after, guide. Right, so now you can see a little bit of daylight on my right hand side. So I just have to take a little bit off of here, so to make that go, so we don't have no daylight basically. Right, so this is what I'm going to try and do. So if I leave that, so in the middle of this is where I've got to do some bit more tweaking. Okay, so I'm going to plane a little bit here. Where there's a gap, that means that this rail is higher than that. That's why you've got that gap. You want it so that there's no gap, so it's flat. That's the idea of when we're cleaning up something like this. You want the work to be flat, so there's no daylight showing through like there is at the moment. It's very small, but it's still a gap. That means this rail is higher than that. And that's what I'm going to bring down. So now I've managed to plane down that rail so it's going to be in line, or flat really, basically, by tilting. Can you see there's no gap now? No gap whatsoever. Yeah, so that means I've got it down where I want it. So meaning it's flat. Okay, I'm just going to attack this side now. That's what I'm going to do. I've got that nice and flat now.
You've done it?
Yeah, nice and flat, that's what we want.
Okay.
Yeah, I've torn this bit, I want to try and...
Go.
So now I've managed to get this corner flat also. So all four sides are nice and flat. Yeah, now I've taken any high spots, I've taken it down. So that's that. Now I'm going to do the same thing I've done here on the reverse side, which is the face side. So, right, what I've done now, I've planed the surfaces, I made sure that they're nice and flat. Yeah, there's no element of daylight going through it. It's nicely done, spot on there, nice and clean. There, all flat. Now, what you could do is here, is the edge here, just take off what we call the aris. The aris is the sharp corner. So taking off the aris is just lightly, especially on the long side, just tilting my plane and just take off the sharp corners just for handleability, especially on the bottom. You can do it on the bottom, and the outside edges. Yeah, here, I'm just gonna put, yes, this lightly, put another little, turn this over. I can't get into there because obviously it's going to be a bit silly in there. So just on the outside edge. And what that does is just, when you're handling it, you're not going to get a splinter or anything like this. Not that you should in a way, but it's just making it nice and soft on those arises instead of having sharp corners. So taking off the aris is something you do when you're finishing off a job like this. Now, why I've done that is if I go right away through there, as I said earlier, this could split out. So if I come there, about there, stop there, and just reverse the smoothing plane and come inwardly, I can avoid any breakout here, especially when it comes to end grain. So just taking a little bit of time, just taking off the arris, and that's what I've done. So this really making it smooth, or taking off the corners, so hand mobility, so you've got no sharp edges. So it's nicely sort of finished in that way. So what I wanted to get into the inside, if I get my glass paper, which is 120, a block, I can just lightly go in here like that, just to get inside if I wanted to. And then same there. Up here, I can get it to here now. Oh. Right, so now all I'm going to do is take the other side, there's a little bit of glass paper, yeah, all the way around, just to take the, what I mean is the arises. Just as I say, handling. It's all about handling. Handling the finished article ready for whatever finish you want to put on it, whether it's a paint finish or a polish finish. And that's another reason why we take off arises for edges of our corner edges of an item. Because if you put a finish on it, if you have a sharp corner, what tends to happen is that you get a build up of polish or the paint on the corner because it hasn't been arised off, the aris hasn't been taken off. And that's another reason why we take off the arises. Because when it comes to finishing, you don't want that build up of polish or paint because you've left on the sharp corners. Why I use a smoothing plane to smoothen the actual finishing. This is what we call the dressing of this job, because what that gets you to do, that gets you to, first of all, work the timber in relation to using the smoothing plane, in relation to knowing what direction to plane your pieces in without tearing it. So it gets you into the practice of doing that. In the industry, what's likely to happen will be that you'll make a frame similar to this. There might be a door frame or a door, and then what will tend to happen, you'll probably run the alterable over it, which is a sander. Whereas here, I'm showing you to use a smoothing plane and the rudiments of planing a piece of timber like flush to the opposite timber, and so it's giving you a rounded feel when using a smoothing plane, instead of getting a glass paper and block and just doing that, which is all right, but the skill is using the smoothing plane in relation to finishing. We've done a through mortise, a haunch mortise and tenon there. We've got a stub with a draw ball method to secure that stub, and we have a bridle, again, a draw ball method to secure that joint. And this is the finished article, as you see it. So that's the front, and that's the back. Now you know how to construct a mortise and tenon and bridle and stub. Your turn to have a go.